Are you guys enjoying the resort? All right. Okay, our next speaker, he has been in real estate for 18 years. He went full-time in 2014. He was wise. He stayed out of the REO days. He goes, okay, it's good now. I'm going full-time. He sells about 80 homes a year. With this, he's got a few people in a very small boutique team that do about 80 sales a year. But he got a vision for EXP. Who went out and sponsored 20-something people, now has over 700 in his organization. And this guy's like a lovable teddy bear. He's a total relationship guy. He told me before we got up here, I've never missed an event. Ever. And I'm telling you, I've never missed an event. You go to them, Shareholder, EXP Con, the Build event last year, I was there. Right? I'm here at the CABO events. I'm in Puerto Vallarta. Every event they talk about historically, I was there. Because you're either a part of the movement or you're watching the caravan move on. The dogs bark, but the caravan moves on. So help me welcome to the stage Mr. Levi McDonald, everybody. Give him a hand.
Yo, ESP, what's going on? First of all, I want to give all honor and praises to God for allowing me to be here. I'm not a public speaker. I'm not a big coach. I'm not a trainer. I'm just a regular guy who had a vision, and I believed in something. So I'm going to talk to y'all like y'all my family, and I'm just going to keep it real and share my story and share my journey. So I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. That's my family, my wife, and my 3 boys. That's my why. And, growing up, I had the privilege of having this man right here in my life. That's my grandfather, Mr. Alfonso Allen, a.k.a. Big Daddy. See, Big Daddy is not only a sharp dresser and a hard worker, but he was also the only man that I knew who owned real estate. And see, he owned the property he lives in. He owns a couple of rental properties as well, a duplex and a single-family home. And because of him, I knew that I wanted to one day own my own property and own some rental properties as well. I would also, kind of stay up at night and do some stuff like this. I would watch these guys on TV. Some of those are some familiar faces. Flip this house, do this, do that. And I was encouraged to one day be in real estate. I just knew I would be in real estate one day. I didn't know what I would be doing, but I knew I would be in this industry. So I ended up, going to school, going to college. I was always a good student in high school. But I got to college, and things kind of changed a little bit. I want you all to know that, influence and exposure really matters. Who you are exposed to, who you're influenced by, it really affects the decisions that you're going to make later on in life. So I got to school and came back home with something that I didn't leave with. I was a baby with a baby. That's my oldest son. And I was scared. I was scared. I didn't know what to do. And I felt like I had kind of let everybody down because I was one of the first people in my family to go to college. And everybody was celebrating me, barbecues, cookouts, and everything. And, I just didn't feel right. But I knew that it was time to grind. I knew it was time to hustle. I knew it was time to do my thing. So I got a job at Verizon Wireless selling cell phones, and that's what I did. I also started to look back into those books and attend some seminars and stuff from those real estate conferences that I had went to. And I started wholesaling some houses. I started flipping some homes and kind of did okay. And then I bought a house just right before the market crashed in 2008. And I got stuck with this property. And because I got stuck with this property, at this time I was back at home staying with my mom, 23 years old, and I was facing foreclosure. And I had to go through that process and learn the short sale process inside and out. Prior to that, I had got my real estate license. Initially, I only got my real estate license so I can represent myself when I bought and sold properties. My goal was not to be a real estate agent. But because of this, I ended up helping people avoid foreclosure by going through the short sale process. And I started representing clients as an agent. So time went on, and the money was still kind of slow with the short sales. So I was selling more houses. I was selling more cell phones at my job. And then time went on, and the job was just like driving to jail every day. So I quit. And I quit at a time when nobody thought I should have quit. I had just got married. I had just bought a house. And I had a lot of bills. And my wife's parents thought I was crazy for doing that. But I stepped out on faith, and I never looked back. And then, as a solo agent, I can only really handle maybe 3 to 5 closings at one time, 3 to 5 clients at one time, not closings. Hadn't even got there yet. Before I started to feel overwhelmed, stressed. I didn't have the right systems. I didn't have the right tools. Every time I closed, I was unemployed again. So I started looking around for people that can help me out. And I found a coach, a mentor that was right in my area. He owned a company. And at that company, that's when I learned the real fundamentals of business, like what it really takes to be in the real estate business. And I learned how to generate leads. I learned how to convert those leads into clients. I learned how to turn those clients into closings, make more money per transaction, and do the same thing over and over again. So then I was able to convince some people to join me, to join my team. This was my first real estate team. Everybody was brand new. Nobody had ever sold a house before. I was brand new. I'm nervous, y'all. I'm sorry. Got the Rookie of the Year Sales Team Award. Got the Top Sales Team Award for 2017. And I remember driving home, holding that trophy. Actually, the trophy was in the passenger seat. But I looked over at it, and I had a hard realization. I realized that I was at that time probably the brokest that I had ever been in a long time. I was broke because I had less time. It's like more houses I sold, the less time I had. It's like the more houses I sold, the more money I had to spend to keep bringing those leads in. And it wasn't a good feeling. But to me and to everybody else and to the rest of the world, everything was great. Bills were paid. Vacations were good. Birthdays were great. Everybody was happy, really, except me. So shortly after that, I got a call from this guy right here, Dan Hilsman. Y'all know Dan? Dan is a great guy. Dan told me he wanted me to look at a video about this company called EXP. And because of my ego, I didn't do it because Dan, I didn't even know Dan had left the company that we were at. Dan was never really one of those guys on the top of the sales sheet like me. So even though I loved him, we were nowhere near friends like we are now. I just said, okay, man, send it to me, I'll take a look. And I didn't look. But how many of you all know that we move based on pain and opportunity? And thank God that pain was just around the corner for me. See, the company that I was at, the broker decided to change the commission structures. And that was pain. And honestly, I was just going to start my own thing because I didn't let you know that I have my broker's license as well. Because I was going to start my own thing and not even go to another company. But I had a conversation with James Massey and Ronald Moore, who were two of my other business partners, and they told me that they had also talked to Dan, and they were looking at EXP. So I said, okay, I'll go ahead and finally watch this video. So I watched the video. I was invited to a mastermind in Dallas, Texas. That's where I met John Kitchens. That's where I met Jay Kinder. And that's why I saw this process of how they acquired customers. And surprisingly, it was the same thing that I was already used to doing. So they met me where I was. They made me feel comfortable. And I went on ahead and decided I was going to join EXP in 2018. Well, a couple of months later, I was invited to this event in Key West, Florida. Was anybody else at that event in Key West? This one event right here really changed my life, y'all. I wasn't going because, number one, I was in transition, leaving one company to another. I was also dealing with some personal issues at home. I was working on getting custody of my oldest son. Some things were not the best at his house. And at the last minute, I said, okay, I'm going to just go ahead and put it on my credit card. So I booked this trip on my credit card, and Key West ain't cheap. especially when you do it last minute. So, but to my surprise, it wasn't a regular event. Like, they were not talking about how to acquire customers. They wasn't talking about the best CRM. They wasn't talking about all the normal stuff that we're used to talking about at these real estate events. They were talking about growth, empowerment, building, scaling. They talked about how financially irresponsible it would be not to take a look at this. And Gene Frederick was up there talking about a napkin presentation. And everybody, if you went to the other event, you all probably saw Jay Kendall walk around barefoot. Gene was the first one I saw walk around barefoot and give a presentation. But the mission was to change lives. And that one event changed my life. I came back fired up, and I was just EXPing all over everybody. I was vomiting the model all over everybody. But if you do this, your pure excitement will get you some wins. And I gotta set the record straight. One of the guys, one of the best guys in my organization, Andre LaFountain, he was talked about a little bit yesterday. Andre called me. I didn't call him. I feel like I willed him to call me because of everything else I was doing. But when he called me, he said he was looking to join a team and be an ISA. And I said, sure, let's talk. Let's set up a meeting. Because I remember from that event, first of all, I had messed up on enough people already. I remember that they said, get the appointment, set the appointment. So I set the appointment, we met at a place, and guess who I called to meet him with me? It was Dan Hilsman. Dan showed up, and we talked to Andre, and then there's history after that. So this model has been life-changing. My experience has been life-changing. I've iconed 3 years in a row. I got rid of a lot of personal debt. Now I'm able to break generational curses. I'm able to leave a legacy. I bought my mama a house. We grew up on Section 8. She ain't never got to move no more if she don't want to. See, when you're not living paycheck to paycheck anymore because of opportunities that this has presented to us, you can think clear, you can make moves, you can do things. So everybody's got up here and told you all some things to do that they've done that's worked out. I'm gonna tell y'all some stuff that I didn't do that you should. I'm gonna tell you some stuff that I did that you shouldn't do, all right? So number one, don't wait to start building. Build now. When I say build now, I mean build your relationships. The chances of you doing something great with somebody today, you probably met them 2 or 3 years ago. Build now. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. Seek wisdom and guidance from them, but don't compare yourself to anybody else. Everybody has their own journey. Don't be on an island by yourself. This is a virtual company. It's a cloud-based. If you don't get involved, you can feel like you're by yourself. Use your resources. I reached out to Chuck Fazio one day and said, hey, man, I got a big broker that's coming on. I think to this day that guy's coming because of the conversation he had with Chuck. And Chuck is not even in my group. Use your resources. Don't get discouraged. It's easy to fall back. When somebody tells you no, it's easy to go back and put 2 or 3 contracts, 2 or 3 houses under contracts because they make you feel better. Stay in it. Don't wait to track your growth. Treat this like a business. The ones that are at the top, they treat it like a business. They know their numbers. Make your list now. Make your list next week. Make it the week after that. You continue to make that list. And don't discredit the value of role playing. Like, find somebody you can practice with and practice making the invite. And most of all, don't stop with your why. Like, if your why is your family, if your why is your kids, why is it your family? Why is it your kids? What is this going to do for them? The freedom is in the collaboration. That's what a real freedom is. And I've been able to partner with some amazing people here. I'm not going to go through the list, but make sure y'all reach out to those folks. They can give you a lot of good advice. And plug in. So every single week, we have opportunities for agents to plug in. We do a production call, we do agent training, and we also hire a coach to train our whole organizational production. We have monthly masterminds where we bring in some of the top agents to come in and just share their stories. They share what's working, they share what's not working, they share their best practices. Big events changed my life. Like Brent said, if it wasn't for these events, I wouldn't even be here. It's like coming to a place to get the vaccine shot that everybody wants. Whether an event is big or small, come to these events. Get everybody involved. Like it's not my event, it's everybody's event. Whether it's an open house, a home buying seminar, a workshop, get everybody involved. We have everything. We have lunch and learns, happy hours. The other week, I invited a bunch of agents to my gym. We worked out. Just get everybody involved. It builds that collaboration. It builds that community and that culture that we need. Here's some photos of some things that we do. Also document it. Like document everything that you do. And bet on yourself. Like believe in you. Believe in yourself. I was so scared to get up here today. And then they told me I was going after Tony Robbins' son. And it wasn't even my turn yet. My time is up, but I want to leave y'all with one thing. There was a guy in my group. I had the pleasure of sponsoring him. His name is Jonathan Rosser. Mr. Rosser is 80 years old. Got to be 80-something years old. But if you ask him how old he is, he says he's 39. Mr. Rosser called me the other night. He asked me a crazy question. He said, Levi, have you ever lived in a house without a bathroom? I was like, huh? He said, have you ever lived in a house without a bathroom? I said, no, I don't think I have. He said, well, I have. He said, my wife remembers when one was installed in her house. He said, do you remember that when the idea of having a bathroom came up, that people did not want a bathroom in the house? He said they couldn't fathom the idea of you really taking a crap inside the house. He said they fought against it. He said they didn't really understand at the time how much of a convenience that would be for them. They didn't understand how much of a luxury it would be. He said, Levi, eXp Realty is to the real estate industry what the bathroom was to the rest of the world. He said, can you imagine being at a company where the best thing about that company was that you was on a 100% commission split? Can you imagine being at a company where you had no room for growth? Can you imagine being at a company where they didn't provide the opportunity for you to have an exit strategy? Can you imagine being at a company where they didn't provide the opportunity for you to have passive income and change your family? It's somebody you've probably been reaching out to, somebody you've been calling, somebody who's told you no, somebody who's told you yes, but they hadn't came over yet. I want to encourage everybody to just keep making those phone calls because they don't know how good it feels not to have to take a crap outside. I love y'all, and know you can do about it.